All right, welcome to another episode of Conversations with Drivers. I'm your host and driver advocate, Lamar Sullivan. Riding with us today is a driver out of the St. Louis market, Joshua Levings. Uh, Thanks for joining us today, and how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. I'm hoping for some fall weather here. It
Yeah,
seemed like in the fall, and now we're back to the warm weather.
yeah, it's a little back and forth.
Yeah. um, so I just mentioned you're in the St. Louis market. So do you mostly operate out of that area, St. Louis, or are there other areas that you are working out of?
Yeah, so about I'd say 90% of my workload is out of the St. Louis market, but I actually live on the Illinois side. So I do a lot of orders on the Illinois side as well. With the St. Louis market being, a 15-minute drive across the bridge, for where I reside. So it's a little bit of both, but most of the time I'm in St. Louis.
Okay, okay. Do you see orders from where you are on the Illinois side of things?
Yes. So from my location, it's kind of I would call it a prime location. I see orders on both sides,
Okay.
on a daily basis. Some might be in Illinois, um, like more specifically like Collinsville, Illinois, Glen Carbon, things like that, which are all about 10 to 15 minutes from St. Louis. So I'm able to see orders from both sides. And then a lot of times, once, that initial order comes, it might go from Illinois to Missouri and then it just pick up from there.
Okay. All right. Let's get into my first question here. So what made you get into the gig economy?
So it was kind of over the last few years. So my initially when I graduated college, I got into financial advising.
Mhm.
So that was more of a contract basis as well, where I was kind of like independently contracted. So I was one thing for sure. I was just used to being able to control my own schedule, having my own freedom to work or not work, as need be. And then when I decided, to transition out of that career, I was looking for outside of my other businesses, I was looking for something that I could kind of pick up, with my free time and stuff like that. And I actually had a friend that was already working with dispatch and apps like it. And he had notified me about it, just told me to check it out because especially because I already was driving a pickup truck on a daily. And he let me know about it. And it was just one of those things I signed up for it. And I actually had it on my phone for a few months before I even actually got active with it. One day I just decided, man, let me, turn this on, see how it goes. And then I haven't stopped since, you know what I mean? It's pretty consistent. It's a, extra added income. And it's I enjoy it now because it's like one of those things I've got familiar with the locations and the people in the location. So it's like I know them all by first name basis. They know me by first name basis, you know what I mean? So it's cool.
Okay, so you built a relationship with the different customers that you've worked with and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. You started initially with the pickup, or did you try a smaller vehicle first, or what was that decision like?
So I just started initially with the pickup because like I said, I already had a pickup truck, so I didn't go out to like buy one to do it or anything. That just was already what my daily driving vehicle was. So yep, I
Okay,
started with the pickup. I'm still currently with the pickup, but I do have aspirations to go bigger.
okay, all right. Um, with you having that pickup truck, what are some of the challenges, if any, of delivering with a pickup truck? That makes it a like weather can be difficult when it comes to a
Yeah.
pickup truck. So what are
Mhm.
some challenges that you experience?
Like you said, with weather, especially like with the wintertime approaching, sometimes you might have a lot of precipitation or snow or things like that that you don't with certain products, you don't want to get that wet and stuff like that. So just trying to take precautions to like I keep a tarp in my truck, just in case it might be something that I need to cover up. That's pretty much the main thing is weather. The other thing could be objects that it might be a little bit too big to put in your cab, but then small enough to where it can slide around in the back. So just being able to have straps and stuff to strap stuff down, because you don't want things to slide and break or spill or whatever it may be. So other than that, that's pretty much the only two things that I could kind of see, because I know one thing with Dispatch that's better than other apps is the descriptions are mostly on point, like
Mhm.
95% of the time, as far as what type of vehicle it can fit, what the product is, and the weight and everything like that. And like I said, I've been doing it, a while enough now to where when I'm going to certain locations, I can kind of almost predict what it is just based on the weight and where I'm going to. So, but like I said, weather and just trying to keep things from sliding around sometimes if it's just a little bit smaller object but kind of heavy. That's pretty much it.
Okay, okay. That's good that that's been your experience, that the descriptions are correct and all that. And some drivers
Yeah,
have issues with that, so I'm glad that you've had a positive experience with that.
definitely.
So I think you kind of touched on this a little bit, but did driving with Dispatch help you start your own business? Were you doing? Did you have your own business with the financial advisor stuff, or was this kind of your first kind of venture into like being your own boss kind of thing?
Yeah, so no, it wasn't my first venture. So with the financial advising, it was my first experience with that. Like I said, I had a contract with Northwestern Mutual, but it
Mhm.
was an independent contract, so it was tied in with my financial LLC. And then outside of that, myself and two of my partners have a clothing brand. It's based out of Illinois, Retro Worldwide, and then I'm also um, I do a podcast as well, which is kind of a business in itself. So
Mhm.
I have other businesses that I'm kind of actively working, which is a reason why Dispatch is a good thing for me, because it enables me to make other money to put into these different type of things. But it's one of those things. Obviously, like I can be online or offline as much as I need to. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's basically like an opportunity for me to make money, but it doesn't attach me to a specific schedule. So it wasn't my first thing, but it was definitely something that I want to get into. And me knowing that logistics is a growing business, with a lot of different changes going on in the world with all this different technology and stuff like that. Logistics is kind of one of those one things that hasn't been affected yet. You know what I mean? Because it's like at the end of the day, supply and demand is still there. These companies still need their products. These customers still need their products. So, I mean, there's really nothing that can be done about that other than us getting it there. So,
Yeah, yeah, and that's a great way of thinking. So, are you still, do you still do the financial advisor stuff on the side there also, or you completely moved away from that?
so I completely moved away from that business. I still do have my licenses, so it's something that I could get back into in the future. But as of right now, I'm just kind of focusing on my other ventures that I have right now and trying to build those. So I'm not in that field currently.
Okay, yeah, love to hear it. That sounds like you got a lot going on the entrepreneurship side. We love to hear
Definitely.
that, and glad that Dispatch can help, fuel some of that. That's
Hmm.
what we help do. Um, and so, how long have you been driving with Dispatch?
So it's been over a year now. I want to say what is 2024, probably about a year and a half now.
Okay.
Like I said, I initially downloaded the app earlier in 2023, but I didn't really tap into it until kind of right before the summer last year.
Hmm.
But like I said, once I started, it's never stopped. So yeah, about a year and a half.
Yeah, and it seems like you hit the ground running. Like how I came across your name is just looking at some of the drivers that were kind of the most orders delivered in this year, and you were top five, I believe, top five or top 10. So sounds like
Okay,
you really hit the ground running with in that market, and it's been pretty busy for you ever since.
definitely. Yep. I didn't know my number was that high, but that's good to hear.
Yeah, yeah, you're killing it out there. So you kind of talked about how dispatch has helped increase your business, or helped your business. What have you liked working with dispatch?
So a few different things I like. One, like I said, just the relationships with a lot of the would say employees or whatever at the at the different locations I pick up and drop off to. Especially I'd say in my market, 90% of my jobs are Sherwin Williams. And they're at this point, it's a lot of the same locations. So I see a lot of the same faces every day, and it's like I said, we know each other by a first name basis now, you know what I mean? Have small talk in between, stuff like that. So that's fun, meeting new people. And just being able to tell them about other things I have going on as well, the way I'm, talking to you about it. So helps with that. And then just like the kind of just being able to go to new places. Like it was, I've been to a part of Iowa that I had never been to, making a quick drop off, but obviously I wasn't there for long, but just seeing different scenery, going across bridges you never seen, rivers you never seen. I'm kind of a scenic guy when it comes to stuff like that. So just being able to see different locations and stuff while making money, of course, we all love to make money. So it's kind of a two-way street in that aspect as well. So I just say, just the new relationships, speaking to new people, being in new environments, stuff like that.
Okay. All right. So what are the things, in your opinion, that dispatch can improve on?
Um, I think I had a conversation with somebody within dispatch a few months ago about it. One thing that I'll say is, like I said, with the other apps that I do have that I work with sometimes, dispatch is obviously the most consistent. The descriptions are, more on point than any other company. The one thing that I'll say with dispatch is that sometimes the mileage and the rates are kind of lower than other companies. So I would just say, just starting out with just better rates on some of the things sometimes, because at the end of the day, if a driver doesn't take it, then of course you guys add bonuses and stuff like that, which are great. But I just feel like a lot of jobs would be taken quicker if those are just the initial rates to begin with.
Mhm.
That's really the only thing that I can really say, that I would say lacks, other than from other companies, because those other companies are less consistent, but with similar jobs, like I said, I see mostly Sherwin-Williams a lot. So I would say like an app like Bungie,
Mhm.
they sometimes may offer $20 more initially for the same type of Sherwin-Williams order. So I would just say with dispatch, sometimes the rates are a little bit lower initially. But other than that, I really can't complain. Like I said, the descriptions are pretty much on point to where the other companies, man, you might pick, it might say it'll fit a pickup truck and you get there and this stuff needs to be on the flatbed 18 wheeler. Like it'd be way off sometimes, you know what I mean? But that could be that would probably be the only thing I could say, because I mean the customer service, anytime I've our driver, resources, anytime I've ever had to call in or chat, I'm pretty much serviced within a timely manner. Um, there's really no other, complaints that I could make.
Okay. Okay. That's noted, and not something that we haven't heard before.
Right, of course.
So that's good to know. Um, so for you as a business owner and a gig driver, what are some of the things that are important to you in this space when you're looking at different apps to use, or that kind of thing? Like, as you said, you have used Bungie and some of the other ones.
Mhm.
What makes you use a given app? What do you look for?
One main thing is consistency. How available jobs are, how consistent they are. Um, of course, the money has to make sense, especially when you're driving, because with gas prices and stuff like that. But I just mainly say the consistency, the communication, the descriptions and things like that, because that that's a time killer a lot of times. Like with those other apps, sometimes if you drive 20 to 30 minutes to get somewhere to pick something up, and then all of a sudden you can't pick that item up because maybe it's too big for your vehicle, and of course, you'll get your fee for being there and showing up, but you might have selected the job because it paid $100 or $80 or something like that, and then you might only get a $15 fee for showing up. You know what I mean? So, but my main thing just with and the reason that dispatch is stood out to me so much, and it's the main thing that I use, is just because of the consistency of it. Some of those other apps, you might see one job a day, if that. Sometimes I have other apps that it might not ding for 3 days at a time. You know what I mean? But with this dispatch, whenever I'm online, things are coming through. You know what I mean? It's not always, the best jobs and things like that, but it's at least something to where, if there's a day where I don't have anything going on, I can definitely get a lot done.
Okay, that's good. I'd love to hear that we've been consistent for you. Some markets are busier than others, so I'm glad that
Hmm.
you're in an area where you can see consistent orders, and that keeps you busy. So I love to hear that. Uh, so, we kind of touched on this a little bit, like talking about the descriptors, but how have the orders on the dispatch app compared to other gig apps that you've used?
So how is it compared into like what aspect?
How the orders that come in. So say how to whether you want to talk about the pay or just like you already talked about the descriptors, but kind of the weight or just how they send the orders out. Like what are the some of the differences that you've seen?
Oh, okay. So like as far as the differences are, like with dispatch, the thing that I like about it is the fact that, when it sends you that order, I forget the word you guys use for us, but it's like when it sends it to you and you get like 45 seconds to accept it.
Yep.
I like that feature a lot because I one thing I did realize is once I first started dispatch, I didn't get a lot of those. And then when I got more consistent, they come a lot faster. So I'm able to, I guess, see those orders before the rest of the market gets to see it.
Hmm.
I would say that's something that I really like about it, because there's other apps that I have like to where you have to like submit an offer.
Hmm.
So you and however many of the drivers can submit an offer, and then you might wait 20 or 30 minutes, and then they'll let you know if you got the job or not. So that's a big difference that I like. To where it's like, and sometimes I do miss them. Sometimes if I'm driving, don't lie, look at my phone, I might miss a order option or something like that. But for the most part, at least give me that 45 seconds to look at the mileage, look at the pay, stuff like that. I really like that option there. Because it's just an opportunity that maybe somebody else doesn't get unless I decline it for whatever reason or whatever might happen. Um, like I said, compared to other apps, you're putting in a submission with maybe 100 other people. You know what I mean? And it's hard to get accepted on those type of things. Let me think. Another thing, I don't know. I'll probably just say that. That's probably the main thing.
Okay, yeah, and that is a big difference that we have with some of the other apps out there. So I'm glad that that's a positive for you. Um, so when looking for orders,
Mhm.
what's the most important, one or two things that you're looking at when you're scanning over an order and deciding whether it's worth it?
hmm so the main two things that I look at is miles. Well, first of all, how far am I from the pickup location? You know what I mean? Because obviously that's kind of I won't call it a dead mile because you have to get there, but if an order is from the pickup to the drop off point, if it's 8 miles apart, but I may be 50 miles from the pickup spot. You know what I mean? So let's just say that order pays $20 because it's not going that far. It might not be beneficial for me to take it in the long run because I'm driving a pickup truck, which obviously, is not the cheapest on gas. And then if I'm driving 50 miles to get there just to drive 8 miles, you know what I mean, within a money type of situation as far as thinking about gas mileage and stuff like that, it might not make the most sense. So the main two things I always look at is or two or three things is how far am I from the pickup location? How far does it need to go? And then what's the pay like? And just go off of that. And then, considering weight and all that different stuff too, with the weight bonus and stuff like that, that makes a difference as well. But initially, just without the bonuses and stuff like that, those are the first two or three things I look at.
Okay, okay. So have you had a chance to attend any of our webinars that we've done this year?
Yes, I've attended. I want to say one or two. It's been a few months since I have, but there's been a few that I've jumped on.
Okay. So my next question is, have those been of any value to you? What value have they been? Just kind of talk about that a little bit.
So the value that I see in those are, um, obviously just seeing the perspective of other drivers, different markets, stuff like that, seeing which similar questions they may have or what different experience or questions that they may have and seeing the different stuff that they're going through. Like I said, that could be similar, it could be different. Or maybe, obviously getting on a webinar with somebody that's doing the same type of stuff as you, they might come up with an issue or a question or something like that that you never thought of, or that you maybe never looked at it in a different perspective. So I'm a person that like, I like to kind of put minds together when it comes to certain things. So when you're hearing people speak on their experiences doing the same thing that you're doing, but maybe it might be, like I said, something you never experienced, a situation you never um a situation you never have come into yet, but it might be something I see down the road. But I could think back, okay, well, I was on this webinar and they said, well, when this happens, this is the approach to that. You know what I mean? So another driver might have been in the market somewhere else, but they might have had a pickup at a issue at a pickup location or a drop off location, and they may have asked on a webinar, what do I do when this happens? And it could be something in my mind. Oh, what they said on this webinar, if this happens, call here, do this, do that. You know what I mean? Just getting other information that can come about other than just getting on the app, because it's only so much you guys can put on the website and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So just getting those other questions answered, or stuff like that, that just aren't necessarily general, I guess.
Mhm. Okay. And does that kind of, do you see like other apps doing that, or do you find that that's something that kind of differentiates Dispatch from some of the other apps that you use?
Oh, that's definitely something that differentiates you guys. I don't see any other apps that do webinars or anything similar to that. Um, yeah, I don't think I've gotten an invite or anything like that from any other ones. Like I said, they all have, you know, FAQ stuff like that, but
Mhm.
nothing that's like FAQs and stuff like that are obviously good to be able to relate to, but there's nothing like a live seminar, because like I said, there's questions that come on the fly. One conversation leads to another conversation that leads to another question. You know what I mean? So it's different, obviously. So no, but you guys are with companies that I work with are the only one that I know that does that, and
Okay.
as consistent as you guys do it.
Good. 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 Um, so from your perspective, why should other people drive with Dispatch?
I would say, it's an opportunity to make good money within the freedom of your own time frame. It's something that you're not, like I say, you're not tied down. You can turn it off and turn it on at your own discretion. Um, if you're somebody who likes to stay active, move around, you know what I mean, go into new markets, new stores, speak to new people. It's just a great opportunity. Obviously, like I said, we're all adults. We need to make money. We have lives to take care of. So obviously make money, but just get into a different experience. Just doing this has made me see the world of logistics in a different light. Seeing that there's money to be made out here, and it's making me think bigger as far as this, just this industry as a whole. So I just think it's something, in the day and age where a lot of people don't want to be tied down to a 9 to 5, but obviously they want to be able to make the same money as a 9 to 5. I say from my experience, I've been able to do that. So I encourage anybody else who may be in that same um, mind frame of what they want to do. It's a good opportunity.
Okay. And that kind of interested me what you just said about um, making you think bigger about logistics, and
Mhm.
what does that look like for you, as much as you want to share with that, but what does that look like for you?
So for me, it's one of those things where I want to look into getting a fleet of box trucks, or cargo vans, stuff like that, and just really expand. Like I've already tapped into and signed up for. My Dispatch has the I forget what you guys exactly call it, but where you can add the drivers on.
Yep, the Courier
So
Partner
I've been,
Program.
yeah, the courier partner program. So I've been looking into that already, and just kind of trying to get my business right on the other end, as far as how I can, obtain the vehicles and stuff like that, to be able to put other people in, to be able to pull them into this and make my team bigger. To where at first, like obviously it was something I just started by myself, driving by myself, stuff like that. But I'm realizing that there's only so much I can do by myself. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But if there's other people within my family or whatever that I can teach, how I've been able to become a top driver, and then now it's, instead of being one of me, there's four of me, or whatever the case may be. So it's made me think bigger on it in that situation, to where, okay, well, I'm making pretty good money doing it by myself, but what if I could add on two or three people? What can that look like? And how could I help this company more? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So.
Okay, yeah, yeah, and that's that entrepreneurial mindset that you already got, and sounds like you trying to
Yeah.
expand it more in this logistics space. So that's what
Hmm.
that's good, what we want out of drivers. A lot of drivers do come in just like you, kind of just testing the water, see what it's like, and some of them do go on to start their own fleets as they get busier, and so that's the natural projection, or yeah, natural projection that we want for our drivers,
Hmm.
is to be able to keep increasing and building up your business, to have your own fleet. So ultimately, maybe you don't have to be on the road anymore. You can just have your drivers on the road making money for you. That's good. So if you could give any, we're getting down to the last two questions here. So if you could give any advice to other drivers at dispatch, what would it be?
My advice would be just be trustworthy. Get things there, in a timely fashion. Um, just obviously keep your eyes on the road. Be aware of others. Obviously, we want to be safe. Um, and just have fun with it. Like I said, meet new people, speak to new people. That's really it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. And so lastly here, and anything else you want to share with us, with the dispatch community about yourself or your journey, or anything that you haven't said already? The floor is yours.
No, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm sure you guys will be seeing me in a lot of different lanes, working on a different lot of stuff here. So just pay attention to the name. You'll see it involved in a lot of things. We got like I said, clothing line, Retro Worldwide, podcast, Reason to Doubt podcast. Got a youth football team, the Retro Eagles. We're about to go for our third Super Bowl in a row this week,
Okay.
so that's what we're gearing up for. So that's a little bit more about me and what I got going on, but that's about it. Other than that, if I'm not on the road, those are the three things that I'm doing. So
Love it, love it. I hope for wins for everything that you just laid out there. Hope y'all win another championship and
appreciate it.
as well. And yeah, you're doing great for us. We wish the best for you. Yeah, that's all I got here for you. Any other questions or anything you want to ask me?
No, not that I can think of. Everything was pretty straightforward.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll conclude this episode of Conversations with Drivers. Thank you, Josh, for joining us today and for driving with Dispatch, and keep up the great work.
Appreciate it.